Worry not about anything, but pray about everything. Tell God what you need.
Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing? It's been a while since I've been here, but yeah, good to be back. How you guys doing? So yes, this is a very fun month. I find it fun because we get to talk about something that we all maybe have experienced or might be going through, but we're actually fighting through it. So this month, we're talking about mental health through the Psalms, and I don't know. Maybe you might have experienced it, might have not. But hey, who knows? So yes, this is Aleni Shimwe with you today, this month, talking about mental health through the Psalms. Um, I'm smiling, but you might see me sad at some point in time. Because it's a very, very, I don't know, difficult thing to just talk about. So for me, I actually sat down to think about this space. Like, have I ever actually been in that space of having a mental health problem or an issue? And this happened actually 2018, June. Why do I say this? Because that's the time when my sister passed. So it was a fun time. We came to Kenya, studied in the same country, yes, different schools, having fun, having so many dreams and all these things that we were about to do. But funny enough, that month, June, I didn't expect that to happen. Why? Because just the day, 5th of June, actually, just been finished speaking to her, and we actually made a plan for Friday. And 6th of June, when I was at work, I'm being called by her school, and then I'm being told that she's no more. I thought it was a joke. I thought it was a prank. I was like, that's a silly prank. But yeah, I called the school, but no one was answering. I was actually ready to go to school. My boss looked at me and he was wondering what I was actually going through because I wasn't even processing anything. I was just in anger because I thought that someone actually pushed her, or maybe something happened or someone did something. I was in a space ready to do whatever it takes. I don't know what that means, but yeah. So basically, rushed going to her school, but then I'm called by the school again. But nope, that she's been taken to the morgue by Aga Khan. Going there and seeing her on that table and realizing that truly it was her, I felt like everything was done. I felt like the whole world had just shut down. We were close. Growing up, we were never, but as we got older, we became really close. And there's so much we shared and so much dreams that we anticipated on actually getting to do together. And for me now, it felt like everything else was meaningless. Life was meaningless. Work was meaningless because I stopped work. Then I just felt like there's nothing I need to do. My parents were like, oh, come home. I'm like, what for? I felt like anyone I talked to, anything I do was meaningless. So I just wanted to, I don't know, do nothing. Because I'm like, there's no point. I just felt like everything around me had no meaning in life. And I remember I did question God. Yes, I did trust him for some, but then I did question him. I'm just like, why do you take the innocent ones? Because, if you compare her life and my life, I was the rake. I thought that would be me, but it was her. I never really understood why. It brought so much worry for me because I was just like, what does it mean? Tomorrow it could be me, or tomorrow it could be my brother, because I'm like, he's the next innocent one in the family. Or my mom or my dad. And I just felt like nothing else was meaningful in life, even my own life. Remember staying at the house, didn't feel like doing anything, didn't feel like going anywhere, because I'm just like, if I go anywhere, probably, hey, I might end up getting hit by a car or something. I was just like, if I'm going to die, let me just sit and die in the chair, maybe watching TV, maybe watching something fun. But I didn't have any urge to trust God for some time because I thought there was no need. I thought that today he would tell you that, I got you. And then tomorrow, he's actually hurting the ones that you love so much. And so it didn't really make sense to me. But I remember when that happened, I joined Mavuno. I remember just coming for internship. I remember just being told, come, let's try it out. The crowd of people that I met, yes, did try to psych me up. But I felt like getting tired and connecting with someone and then losing them again would be the worst thing ever. I don't think I was ready for that. And I remember one preaching, a verse, Isaiah 43, verse 19 was mentioned. Forget about the latter things, for I'm about to do a new thing. It didn't make sense because, like, what new are you going to do when I don't have my sister around to do the things that we needed to do? But I thought, why not give it a shot and see what new thing he has? And I guess I praise him for that because she stays in my heart and I'm getting to do the things that I need to do. And I know she's there actually doing them with me. So, hey, you never know. Maybe you just need to trust him. Allow him to show you the new thing that he's about to do. Maybe there's a joy that you need, and that joy is in him.
I was struggling with anxiety and fear. Like it's something that I didn't really understand because I always thought that feeling where you don't know, you feel like something bad is gonna happen, until I sat down with someone and they actually explained that is anxiety, when you just feel like everything is gonna go wrong, but you don't know, you can't pinpoint why you're feeling that, and at times even something bad doesn't really happen. You're just anxious and you're just afraid, and I've really struggled, especially I think with the COVID season and with how I value relationships, and most times I'm always afraid, oh my God, someone is gonna die, or oh my God, even during the COVID season. And it has just been, it has been hard. It has been hard, but just coming into a place where I learned to trust in God, and I learned to just put all my troubles in his hands, because there is nothing much I can do about it, because I can't control most things. Only God can control our lives. And it has taken me time to come to a place where I'm learning to just trust and believe in God each and every day, and not being afraid of the things that are gonna happen. Because I want my children, when I get married, to have an amazing life. But then with the current situations and the way that this world is going, you're like, am I even sure I'm gonna be there, or do I even want to have kids in this generation that is coming? Such questions, because there are so many things that are happening, and we have no control over them. Even when COVID hit, people have lost their families. No one expected COVID to be here. So you see, we are all, you get to a place where you're always afraid because you don't know, or you're not sure or certain of tomorrow. But just to remind you that those are worries of tomorrow. You just leave them to God, because you have no control over them. Only God can control them. And coming to that place where I've just put my trust in God and focused on today and what he's giving me now, and always asking him, the way we are told, he will give you everything above what you think, ask, or imagine. So it's just a matter of asking. You've been told to seek and you will find. So I think I've just learned to depend on God more, and not to let the fears and the anxiety in me take control, because you can't even wake up. You're always afraid. There were times I couldn't even leave the house because I think, am I even gonna make it back? Is there something that is, even when someone calls you, you're afraid of picking up a phone call because you're not sure, is it gonna be a good phone call? Especially I think in the COVID season, because a lot of, especially because I think we were making, okay, it wasn't a joke, it's not a good joke, I don't know if it is. Nowadays people are afraid of being asked, do you remember so and so? Because you don't know what is gonna come after that. And I was just sharing it with someone, with a pastor friend of mine. I was just telling, I wanted to share that my auntie was really, really proud of what he was doing. But I think the way I started, because I asked him, do you remember my auntie? And then he was like, chill first. If it's bad news, I think I've had a long day. Please don't share. So yeah, we've come to that place where we are always afraid of things, because the world is not the same. I think it's not the same as it was before. Now everyone is just anxious, afraid of things that anyway we can't control, and you just need to leave it all to God, and he's the one. If this is how he's planned it, if this is what he's willed, it helps you even come to a space where you're just peace. You're peaceful and you're happy, even when things don't work out the way you want. You're just content with what God has offered you, because you have put your trust in him, and he surely gives you peace. Like, he literally gives you peace. And I am really, really, really just happy because I am at peace. I feel like everything that I was anxious and afraid of is something that I don't worry about anymore, because I know he has me, he has my back. And I'm just really excited for the future, because I know he has good plans for me. It says in Jeremiah 11:29 that he's promised me a prosperous life. So I don't have to worry about it. Yeah. So as I wind up, I wanted to share a verse from Psalms 56:3 that says, when I'm afraid, I put my trust in you. That's all. Like, when you're afraid, just put your trust in God, and he's gonna sort you out like he has for me. Yeah.
I love statistics. There's something about statistics I love. And, statistics gives us a perspective about life, about things happening around us. The reason why companies nowadays, there's an influx of data analysts, because data is really key. So there's a certain statistics I came across, which says in every 100 people, 100 have or will face trouble in life. So what I'm trying to say is that everyone, in a point in their life, will face trouble. And it's not actually once, but several times. So it's truth. Like, once in a while, or you will once in a while face trouble in your life. So be it in school, home, career, marriage oriented, family related, you will face trouble in your life. So we all have gone through or currently going through trouble, and something which trouble brings in our life. That's pain, anxiety, despair, uncertainty. You may lose your confidence, self-esteem, and never know, mental health issues. And you end up doubting yourself, doubting everything you're doing. And without knowing, also can create this hole in your life, in you, where you may end up, looking for certain, maybe, ungodly things to fill that void. So I have faced trouble in my life. And there's a time in my life where, like, literally everything around me, which I held dear, it's like it was crumbling down. That was school. The grades I didn't want to get, I actually got a grade I never thought I'll ever get in my life. I'll get back to that concerning that grade. Sports. The time in my life I was really doing so well. I was at my prime, playing in the Kenya Premier League, which is the top in the league currently, the top league in our country. Then injuries came following me, injury after injury. I had like to quit and stay away for years, not playing. Job, the time I had a certain really good job, and the company they were like, guys, we need to started retrenching people, and I was a victim. And relationship, I won't get into detail concerning that, but a relationship can really hit you. One day you're doing so well with this person, then the next day it's like downhill. So all these things came into my life in a certain season at the same time. It's just like in few months. It's like one thing after the other. And for my case, it brought despair, worry, and anxiety. Despair, worry, and anxiety were my boys. Like you were chilling with them every day. So there's this guy. I know you all know about him. He's called Jesus. You all know Jesus. So Jesus is something he says. In this world, we will experience much trouble. Now, as you continue in that text, it's in John 16:33. It continues and says, "We be of good cheer." Now, this part baffles me. How do I become of good cheer when I'm going through difficulty? Then he continues and he says, "I have overcome the world." Yes, it's Jesus. You can overcome everything. So it will be kind of hard for me to overcome trouble and be of good cheer. But he still reminds us that greater things than he has done, we will do. So if he overcame the world with all the troubles and things going around you or around him at that time, we too will go through them and overcome. So being cheerful during a hard time, it won't work for a normal person. Being excited when trouble comes at your doorstep, when trouble becomes your middle name, when friends run away from you, because when they see you, they see trouble. It's hard to be cheerful during that season. But our response should be different as Christians. When it comes knocking at your door, pick your phone, chat with your friend, do a video call, and tell your friend, by the way, dude, I have trouble. And your friend who's in the same realm with you should realize that and know, actually, it's time to throw a bash. Because through this trouble, a testimony will come. Through this trouble, something amazing will come. So, but if it's a money problem, don't throw a bash. Just give him the money. So seek wisdom, guys. Seek wisdom. So something good will come out during this trouble. In my case, part of my outcome, the course I was telling you about, which I got an F. Don't judge me. I got an F. I ended up being the course I mastered in. The same course gave me a scholarship to further my studies. The same course which gave me a job which brings bread and butter and jam and Nutella on my table. So still, my testimony is not having a permanent job brought me to a place to understand who really sustains man. It's not our jobs, not our expertise, not our network. It is God who sustains man. I found peace, some peace I've never thought of. And all this anxiety and worry became a thing of the past. I'm not there yet completely. It's a work in progress. But I thank God because I've made those small steps and I'm finding my peace and my joy over time. Just to put the cherry on the top of this cake we are making, Philippians 4:6-7 says, "Do not fret." Fret means be constantly or visibly anxious. What I was talking about. Or worry. Instead of worrying, pray. Let petitions and praises, guys, praises shape your worries into prayers, letting God know your concerns. Before you know it, a sense of God wholeness. Remember that void? A sense of God's wholeness. Before you know it, a sense of God wholeness. Everything coming together for good will come and settle you down. It's wonderful what happens when Christ displaces worry at the center of your life. Philippians 4:6-7. Worry is not your portion. Be blessed.
I've suffered rejection and I've suffered depression. Those two things actually came in one. And the worst part about it is that they all came in at a very crucial moment in my life. So this crucial moment came when I was doing my final year of studies in school. So just before that, my dad passed away. Like literally 3 weeks before that, my dad passed away. And my dad was this person who always encouraged me to do well in my studies. In short, he was my best friend in school. So he passes away. I go home for his burial, come back to school when it was 3 days to the final exam. So that means that the whole year of study has actually been wasted just like that, because your mind isn't at its right state to actually tackle that exam. So funny thing, going back to school, I was actually depressed in a way. Actually, I was actually depressed, not in a way, because you've lost your best friend and you have to sit in an exam whereby you've not been given time to actually grieve your loss. Being in school, during that time, scandals came out, like a lot of scandals. So one of the scandals was about sexuality and homosexuality. So the worst part about that is I was in those scandals mainly because the person I used to sit with, my deskmate, the previous year turned out to be homosexual. So everyone in school, including the people I regarded as my close friends, actually left me alone. Actually secluded themselves from me. So that meant that I've lost my dad, first of all. Second of all, there's a whole other level of things going in school. So everyone doesn't want to be associated with you simply because of that news. And yeah, and the teachers are not there during your final year examinations, and it's a boarding school. So basically, you go do your exams every single day, having no one to talk to, having no one to share with, having no one to actually study for the exam with. So that was actually hard. And where I was with my studies, I wasn't that sharp or that A student. I was struggling a lot. So day by day, just persisting and pushing yourself to actually do the best that you can, especially for my dad, and just not being with the environment that's around you, the hostile environment. So I remember this one time I was seated in class. We were sharing like a whole room. So I was studying, and then boiled eggs were actually thrown at me from my back. So they smash at the table and others smash at the back of my head. So I turn around to see who actually did that, and everyone is pretending like nothing just happened. I also remember this one time where I was coming from the dormitory and I was just walking towards class. It was around 4 o'clock, so everyone was free to do pretty much whatever they wanted. And people just started shouting horrible names, like from the dorms. So you'd walk and it's like, you'd imagine a scenario where Cristiano Ronaldo is getting into a pitch and everyone is shouting his name. But this time, everyone is actually shouting mean things to you. So you just walk being discouraged the whole time, doing pretty much all that you can just to hold together. But trust me, that was a time where I think every single night you just used to feel bad and cry yourself to sleep, simply because you're afraid that if you sleep, someone would come and mess up with you. If you're afraid that if you sleep, bad dreams are there, of course, because of your dad and everything. So it was just a horrible time. So that being said and done, I think one thing that actually helped me during that time was a verse that it was a verse in Ecclesiastes that says all things work for good. So persisting each and every single time, I just told myself that all things work for good. So no matter what happened, I just knew everything was gonna work for good. So that after, another thing that got me going through was also another verse in the Bible that says you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. So that to me actually meant that since I have God, I can persist through my negative emotions. I can persist through the hard exams that were there to actually move through everything. So all in all, it was just a consistent moment of prayer, a consistent moment of actually consulting your Bible and self-motivation, such that knowing that you don't really need other people who pull you down to actually succeed. So my encouragement to you guys today is that keep to the Lord. I think He does show you verses that would actually motivate you to get out of whatever state you're in. He will show you situations whereby your heart will get encouraged and you'll be lifted up some way, somehow. So the good ending about all that is that finally, when the results came out, I actually passed. So that was a good thing for me. And that was actually a show that God was there and was present during that whole time. Thank you so much, and you guys have a lovely day.
So worry not about anything. Pray to God about everything. Lord, tell them what you need. I say worry not about anything. Give God thanks of everything is done for you. Worry not about anything. Pray about everything. Tell God what you need. Tell God what you need. Worry not about anything. Give thanks to God for everything He's done. It's done for you. It's done for you. He'll never leave your side. In His hands you are safe. He calls you by name. He'll never leave your side. In His arms you are safe. He calls you by name. You know why? Because He loves you. Because He loves you. Because He loves you. He loves you. He loves you. Yes, God, you do. You love me. You love me. Yes, Lord, you do. You love me. And oh, how He loves us all. Oh, how He loves us. And how He loves us all. And oh, how He loves us. Oh, how He loves us. And how He loves us all. Thank you, God, for your love. Thank you for your love. You have loved us with an everlasting love. An everlasting love. There is nothing we can do. There is nothing that can separate us from your love, God. Guilt and shame, depression, stress and anxiety,